Okay. It helps if I take the microphone off of mute. So you saw my lips moving but didn't hear anything. It's okay. It's fixed now. You should be able to hear in a second. It takes it a while to catch up. There we go. Okay. All right. We got it. It helps if I take... Yep. Okay. We're good. All right. Let's see who's joining us today. Well, we've got Brenda. Brenda is number one in so many ways. Brenda's here from out on the West Coast, and she says they're having perfect weather. That's nice to know. Jacqueline, have you been here before? Sorry if I don't recognize your name. Well, I recognize Jacqueline. We've had several Jacquelines in here over time, but I just don't recognize your last name. But if you are new, you are welcome to be here. And I noticed that you mentioned you're asking if anybody's going to the Durham Trillion Quilt Show, and we just looked it up. We didn't realize it was happening in our area, but it's in our area, and that's actually the weekend of the virtual retreat when they're having that. I don't know if I'd be welcome there or not. Anyways, I used to be a member. That's a story for another day. Some know the story. Russ is here. Hi, Russ. And Evelyn is here. Jean is here. Suzanne is here. Stacy is here. Glenna is here. She says, really enjoying your shirt making video. Also like the video on machine feet. Okay, great, Glenna. We are very glad that you liked all of those. Barb is here, and Candace is here, and Melissa is here. And she's a fabricaholic. Okay.
I think Steve is too.
I'm not as much as I used to. Well, that's not true. I'm still a fabricaholic. Yeah, I love my fabric. Jacqueline says, okay, that we saw that. Heather's here. Hello, Heather. Tamela. And Candace is greeting Jacqueline. That's very nice of you to do, Candace. Inez is here. Dubrovka is here. Kathy is here. Hope everybody's having a great day, she says. Colleen is here. Hello, Colleen. On this lovely Thanksgiving Sunday.
That's not till next week.
Colleen, is Thanksgiving Sunday different for you out on the PEI? Because it's not Thanksgiving Sunday here, not until next Sunday for us. I thought it was the same across Canada. Maybe it's not. Let us know, Colleen. Sue's here. Hi, Sue. So yeah, sound is on now. Yep. I forgot to push the mute button. Or take the mute button off the microphones. It happens.
Frequently.
Oh, be quiet. Judy's here. Hi, Judy. And Karen B is here. Donna is here. Patsy is here. It's a beautiful day in Mississippi. Robert is here. And Jacqueline says to Candace, it's all new to her. Okay. Well, as we said, welcome. We love newbies. You may never come back after this. Who knows? Robert says, hello, Walter.
He said, hi,
hello, Stephen. Yes.
Hello, Robert.
I thought he was picking favorites. Oh. I don't know. Jean E is here. Mona is here. Pamela from Minnesota.
Oh, she's the one you met at the fabric store in Oshawa.
Oh, that's Jack. Okay, Jacqueline. Yes, I remember now. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names. And it's even more difficult when you can't see a face either on here and that. But okay, great. Let's see. Donna is here. The other Donna. I think we have about 3 Donnas on here today. Jen is here. Colleen says, no, it's not different. My mistake. It's still a nice day. Okay.
Yeah, it could be confusing if you go to the grocery store and see all these turkeys on sale.
The grocery stores were busy today. I guess everybody was stocking up on their stuff for the Americans. Next weekend is our Thanksgiving here in Canada. We're a month and a bit ahead of you guys when it comes to Thanksgiving. So that's what we're talking about. Stephanie's here. Hi, Stephanie. She loves the colorful shirts today. They're always colorful.
Actually, these are both actually a couple of fairly
you can date
shirts.
You can date shirts because the pockets don't match. Walter hadn't perfected his signature move.
I hadn't learned how to do that yet. Oh.
Yeah, Judy is here. She's a rulerholic. Yeah, I was one of those at one point in time too. But anyway, so glad everybody could make it today. So we got things to talk about. So I've been working on a Quilt of Valor, a Canadian Quilt of Valor. Yes, for the Americans, we do have Quilts of Valor here as well. We just spell it differently from you. Our Valor is spelled, it has a U in it. Suddenly I've got a frog in my throat. Get your hand out of my...
Just like color. As a U.
Oh, yeah. So, but I started this actually on Wednesday on Sewing with Stephanie and Steven, and I'll show you here what it started out one way, it ended up totally different. And actually, I'm very happy with the way it turned out different. So let me switch over to the screen. There we go. So it hasn't been quilted yet. I have to check I was looking for some wide back fabric that would work with this. Northcott has some. I should have picked up some when we were up there at that place far north because they had some and I didn't bother when I was there. Now I'm kicking myself. But anyways, I started out with the maple leaf blocks that you see in the corners. And I was just going to do the whole thing in different colors of this maple leaf. And those were cut out with my AccuQuilt because I have the AccuQuilt die for that. But as I got working on it, I wasn't really happy with it. And I thought it was going to be a little boring. So I went through my stash of stuff for Quilts of Valor, and I had forgotten I had this panel of the Parliament buildings. And so I decided to work with that. Quilt math is hard, but I got it all to work. And I'm pleased with the way it has turned out. So I think I'll probably quilt it. I think I have a maple leaf quilting pattern that I've used before, and I think I might use that on this one. It's a question of color for quilting. I am not sure. You have any suggestions, Walter?
No, I can't tell you.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking maybe a goldy color. I don't know. Or I just do it in a shade of red, or I could do it in a sort of a cream as well. I don't want to do it in anything too dark because this is a fairly busy quilt. So I want the quilting to be a little bit more subtle. We'll see. I'll have to audition some threads for this.
Might work good.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Or an off-white of some sort. But yep, that's what I have been up to. Let's see here. Who's here that I haven't said hi to yet? Linda.
Yeah.
Linda.
Judy. Did you say Judy?
Did I say Judy? I thought I did, but Judy. Hello, Judy. Yeah, Ruderolic. I said. I think I said hello to Kathy. Thank you, Colleen. And Susanna said hi too. Stacy. I don't think I said hello to Stacy. Hello, Stacy. Stephanie says she thinks she would quilt it with cream. Yeah, I think that's what I'm leaning towards. And Melissa, thank you. And Mary's here. Hi, Mary. So anyways, we'll see. I might get it on Lucy. Well, I do have a backing fabric I can use. That's a red. I don't know if I want to use it, though. I want something more.
Does Shirley have any stuff?
Well, not on her website,
okay.
Which is always a problem. So I don't know if she's got any in the store. I need to go down to Shirley.
What about the place in Uxbridge?
Quilter's Cupboard? I don't know. I don't remember ever seeing any.
They had some.
Did they have some of the old Canada line? Because that's ideally what I want. Of course, I'll pay a premium up there for that. Yeah, that's for sure. That's the one problem. I mean, I looked online, and weird thing about online, I went to that place in Brighton that we went to in June when they had the big sale. What's her name? Rhonda's.
Wow.
And she had one with the maple leaves and everything, but I'm not sure if it was wide back or not. It was sort of in the wide back section, but all the other ones said 108 inches. Hers didn't say. Nowhere. So I didn't want to order it. And because the price was good.
Well, it's probably not
I'm thinking it's not wide back, although her prices are very good on the other wide backs too that she had. She doesn't have a lot, but we'll see. So I saw a question. I think it was Jacqueline. She asked if this Guinness. Yes, it is. My beer of choice. Walter's drinking pee.
I'm drinking low carb beer.
Looks like pee, but whatever. With that, and let's see. I'm just trying to catch up on the conversation. Yeah, Jen concurs with cream. Donna says, "Quilt, yes, I think your off-white or cream would be nice." So it looks like cream. It is. We're off-white. Yeah, well, it is going to go. I wanted to get it done before we go down to the Quilts of Valor Sew Day. We've been invited to the air. Words fail me. What do you call it? Air base. Air base. Military air base in Trenton. Trenton is a place about an hour or so to our east, and they always get together to work on Quilts of Valor, I think every month or something. But in November they're having a special one. They have an aviation museum there on site as well, and I guess we've been invited to come and sew for the day. They're going to sew in the atrium, but they're also doing a special presentation to a soldier, to someone in the forces, that's getting the Quilt of Valor that I donated a year ago. And they asked if I want to be there for the ceremony, and I said, sure, I'd love to. And they're also talking about they're going to be working on Quilt of Valor tops, and I guess they're going to give us a pattern. I don't know if they're going to supply fabric. I don't know any more details about it, but they want to have all these tops done. We're going to be working in teams of 2, apparently, and they want to have these tops done by 3 o'clock that afternoon. It starts at 10, done at 3. Okay, so Walter and I will be a team of 2. I asked them, and I haven't got an answer yet, like, is the pattern fairly basic? Because, well, 1, that's not a lot of time to get a top done unless it's fairly basic, and 2, that he can't sew, but I mean, he's not as comfortable with doing a quilt top as I am. So I don't know. We'll see. I guess worst case scenario, we don't get it done. And, I can take it home and finish it at some point in time, I guess, and just deliver it to them or whatever. I'll see. I don't know. I haven't got all the details yet. I don't think they had all the details worked out yet, which always upsets me, because I'm a very exacting person when it comes to organization. And if you ask me to do something and you want me there, I want to know all the particulars, and I want to know that the whole thing's been organized beforehand. And I'm sure it is. I think there's a couple of ladies who communicate back and forth, and maybe one's waiting for the other one for something. I don't know. We'll see. No biggie. We'll make it work. Whatever. And then she also said, or if I had something I wanted to work on, I could do that too. So getting mixed messages here. Do you have a goal to get a bunch of quilt tops done specifically that day for it, or are you doing a free-for-all? Like, how's this working? That's what I mean. I'm confused. And it doesn't take much to confuse me. So we'll see. Anyways, it'll be interesting, to say the least. So I want to take that quilt that I just made, and I have another one for them as well. I had another one. I had 2 other ones actually, but one I can't give to them because I think you've probably heard the story, because I threw it in the washing machine and I had color catchers in it, and I had washed this quilt once before, but it had been sitting around, and I want to freshen it up before I, gave it away, and it had a red backing on it, and yeah, all the white on the quilt top on the front. I'll have a little tinge of pink. Yeah, I had forgotten that backing fabric I used, they had warned me at Ultimate Sewing. They said, wash it several times before you start working with it, because this one bleeds a great deal. And I did. I washed it about 2 or 3 times. And yes, it did bleed a lot. But I thought I was safe. Guess not. Nope. So I can't really give that as a Quilt of Valor, because I am sure nobody wants. It's not horrible, but it's a tinge of pink, and I don't know. I'm not comfortable with having that, give that to them, with that. So, anyways, I will have 2 to donate when I go down there. Backing up here. What have I missed? Lovely quilt. Person who said love. Afternoon. Okay, so Gloria's here. Okay, so I think we're caught up on the people here. And okay, so what's Walter been working on?
Well, I haven't been doing any sewing this week. I still have a shirt collar to put on. So.
Oh yeah, but he was, as you have seen.
Well, I got busy with showing Steve how to do how to cut out his pattern and stuff, and I did cut out actually another shirt pattern for myself. So because I was going to do a shirt at the same time as he's doing it, so we haven't started the sewing part yet. But
no, so if you haven't seen it yet, on So Chatty this week, we started the shirt. It's not a tutorial. It's Walter teaching me how to make a shirt. So in that video, and we must apologize for possibly the quality of the sound. It's not too bad, but it was very awkward in this room trying to figure out how to get microphones and camera angles in so we could show all of this while we're standing there working on it and the whole. Now I just got something new. I just bought a set of wireless headphones or microphones that we can both have one to wear. And so the next one, I think the sound should be better because I checked them out. They weren't that expensive. I didn't buy, huge ones with a battery pack that you strap to your back, like the people on television shows always wear. These ones have a little simple receiver. They are meant for cell phones, although it said it would work on a computer as well. So I took a chance. They were about $26.
Yeah, but how long will they last when they're on?
Oh, it's supposed to last 6 hours or more. Yeah, with it. So, and the sound is good on them. So, yeah, we'll see how that works out. And that will save us a lot of setup of microphones and getting things in the right spot and everything if these work out okay. Anyways, what Walter explained the pattern. He explained why we did not use the fabric that we originally picked out for my shirt. And I think that was worth talking about because it's not something I would have thought of.
Yeah, you have to take into account what your fabric looks like and what kind of difficulties you'll have. Like, it's not that you wouldn't be able to use it. It's just that you may have to think about how your panels all fit together so it doesn't look funny.
And I didn't want to do a lot of thinking because already I'm going to have, it's all new to me. So I don't need another complication at this stage of the game. Baby steps.
Yeah. I thought it was best to pick it's okay to pick a directional fabric, but one that doesn't have end up having stripes in it or something like that.
Yeah. So anyways, then Walter explained the pattern, what you have to do with each piece. Like some pieces, you fold the fabric and you cut the fold after you're done. So you get 2 pieces that go the opposite way, like the shirt front panels. But then there's the back panel, which is 1 piece, but it's very large. So Walter said,
yeah, the piece is half the back, right? And you have to cut it on the fold of the fabric so that when you unfold the fabric, you have 1 full sheet of fabric that goes across the back of the shirt.
And so he also had to explain to me the markings on the pattern that indicate where you're supposed to cut, where you don't cut, and other things like that. So he showed me how to cut it out. And so I got out my 45 millimeter rotary cutter, and that was pretty smooth, although 1 piece I got a little jaggy with, but Walter says it should be fine. We'll be okay. And so all the pieces are cut out, and I have interfaced with SF101.
The only pieces that you need to interface are the collar and the collar stand, which is the undercollar, and the button band on the front.
So that's all done now. So this week coming, we're going to do what? The button
band, and maybe start on the pocket. The pocket takes a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm. And Walter's going to show me his patented technique for.
Well, it's not really patented.
I know.
It's just the way I
being
do it.
Funny. Jeez, you can be so literal. How do the invisible pocket of a thing. So that'll be next week. And we'll see how that goes. I'm kind of excited about doing it because it's something a little different that I'm learning. But on the other hand, too, I'm a little bit nervous about it as well. But anyways,
one nice thing about the shirt, I've done it so many times, is I don't need to read the instructions. I know what to do.
Yep. And as long as though don't get too cocky about that, because now you're teaching. It's a little different when you're teaching somebody who doesn't know what they're doing with it. But anyways, everybody said they thought you were a really good teacher on there. Yeah. I guess he is. I was surprised that he was so patient. Of course, mind you, we didn't get anything that's real tricky yet with it. So
yeah, we got to get into the sewing yet. Might have to yell and scream then.
Yeah, there could be blood. Yeah, on that. So, well, it's dark colored fabric, so no one will notice.
Teach you how to sew straight.
I know how to sew straight. Excuse you. Really? Anyways, yeah, so that's what's coming up next week on So Chatty. It's going to be a busy week next week, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But just catching up here, Laurel has come in. Aloha. It's out in Hawaii. And Dubrovka says she enjoys the shirt making video. Jackie's here. Hi, Jackie. And Inez says, Stephen, I struggle with deadlines as well. I need things done yesterday and organized. Yes, Inez, I'm the same way. I want it done yesterday all the time. I'm an impatient person. And as an impatient person, I have to have things organized. I mean, I cannot abide by things that are not organized. I am not a fly by the seat of your pants kind of person. I just never have been that way. Melissa says Quiltalicious has the old Canada by Northcott, 108 wide. Yep, I actually went there, Melissa, just before we went to air and checked that out. And yeah, I saw that. The only thing was they had their prices pretty high on that. I have bought stuff from Quiltalicious before. I quite like them because they have some very unusual fabrics. But anyways, I may get it from them yet. Because they're pretty reliable too when it comes to like getting things to you. Karen says, hi Karen, I don't know if I said hi before. I learned from the shirt material discussion.
Not sure if we had shirt material discussion. Anyway.
I'm not sure exactly what that means, Karen. Sorry, I'm being obtuse. Jeannie's here. Hi Jeannie. And Maxine is here. Jen says I have fun trying to do larger than quarter-inch seam allowance. Yeah, that's going to throw me off because we're so used to it always being a quarter-inch seam.
Yeah, the shirt that I'm making, a lot of garment patterns use 5/8 of an inch. Can be challenging to sew. But the shirt has a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, so it's a little easier to sew.
Who knows? I might really enjoy making a shirt and I'll just go nuts on that. But one thing I'll say is there's a lot less pieces to cut out than there are for a quilt. Mind you, there's a lot of curves that you're cutting, although I didn't find that really difficult with the rotary cutter doing that. I know some people use scissors for it. Actually, I think I'd be more comfortable with the rotary cutter than scissors. I think the scissors I would.
Yeah, actually, it was funny. I went to a sewing workshop a couple of years ago, and it was hosted by Ron Collins, and people may not know who that is, but he's a pattern designer for men's clothing in Canada, and he does workshops and things like that. So we were at a workshop, And there were a few of us that sewed together that went to it, and then there were a bunch of people that we didn't know in the class that also did garments. And one of the things he was doing in the workshop was sewing a pair of pants and showing how to sew a pair of pants. And a lot of the people that came to this workshop didn't even know what a rotary cutter was. They used scissors for all their cutting out of their patterns. And in fact, they were quite surprised that we were using rotary cutters.
Well, that's something.
Yeah.
Really?
And I use rotary cutter for everything, so it works good for me. The only thing that you have to get used to is you're used to using rulers and everything else. And when you're doing a pattern, a lot of it you have to freehand against your pattern piece. So you just a little bit of getting used to that.
But anyways, there's still more challenges to come with doing this shirt. We've just started. It could get hairy with it. Let's see. I saw Philippa's here. Hi, Philippa. And Melissa said, I agree on the price. Look closely. I think I saw a discount code. I think I saw that discount code too, and I think it was if you signed up for their mailings, you could take 15% off. Problem is, I already have an account there, and I've already get their mailings. So, but I'll take another look at it though, Melissa, and see. Karen says the discussion rationale on why you chose the pattern for Steven's first shirt. Oh, okay, that's what Karen was asking.
Okay, yeah. Well, the pattern. You mean the paper pattern?
Yeah, I think that's what she means.
Well, actually, that's the shirt pattern I always use for these shirts and that too. So, and I'm familiar with how to sew it together. So that's one of the big reasons.
Now, if you meant the pattern as in the pattern on the fabric, that was one that suits my personality. It's bright, it's bold, it's beautiful. And I was with Walter when he got that fabric as well, because I said, this make a nice shirt. I think we got that up at Appleseed, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Yeah, in Lindsay, when we were on the shop hop thing. So Maxine says, I'm not as accurate with scissors. Yeah, I would be that way too with scissors. I have a tendency to run with them, and that's not good. Dubrovka says, Walter is a good teacher, but Steven, you're a very good student. Well, actually, I am a very good student. I will listen, but you will notice in the video that after Walter finished explaining something, I would go back and say, okay, so you mentioned this. Why is that? And I did that mainly not for my purposes. It was for the purpose of people watching the video.
Yeah, because I don't always think about that when I'm
like he was talking straight of grain. Now, most of us that are quilters probably understand straight of grain. However, there is a possibility some people don't. I mean, when I first got into quilting, I didn't know what straight of grain was. To me, I just thought you cut it any which way.
Yeah, and when I first started doing shirts and clothing patterns, I didn't know what that arrow meant. And I had to learn what it was, so.
Yeah, rust never runs with scissors.
And that's actually more important. I use quilting cotton a lot, and you can do straight of grain and perpendicular isn't too bad either if you want to do that. And you may have to do perpendicular because of the pattern of your material, whatever is on the pattern of the material. I have one shirt where if I had it out on straight of grain, the stripes would have gone this way, and I wanted them to go that way. So I changed that, right? But it's more important if you start working with other fabrics, like if you were using a pair, making shorts or something like that, and you're using a plain fabric. Straight of grain would not have much stretch to it, whereas even perpendicular would have a fair bit of stretch with it, and you have to be careful when you're sewing something like shorts or something like that you're cutting out your material correctly.
But anyways, yeah, and actually one of the markings on the pattern that Walter showed, and I think I pointed that out again, shows you with your pattern piece how you should lay it on your fabric, like it has a straight of grain line on it, which this is something we don't worry about in quilting, at least with a pattern kind of a thing.
Yeah, different fabrics. You got to see how much fat stretches in your fabric and stuff like that.
Melissa, you're evil. She says, sign up with your Gmail or Walter's. That's an idea. Yeah, I could probably still get the...
Yeah, I don't think I've ever ordered from them.
I may have to explore that further. Pat's here. Hi, Pat. Walter is a perfect teacher for me. Getting ready to cut out a collared shirt for my almost 2-year-old grandson. The pattern goes from size 2 to 16. And the basic pattern is almost identical to the one you are using.
Yeah, one thing with shirt patterns is that you really need to, I should have discussed that when we were doing, when you're doing a clothing pattern, you really need to measure the person that it's going to go on, and then choose the size of the pattern that goes along with the measurement sizes. Because often if you are, let's say, a medium-sized shirt, often if you sew a medium-sized pattern, it ends up being too small. So you may find that even though you take a medium off the rack, you may have to choose a large size pattern.
Yeah, guess what size this shirt is? These shirts are.
We normally use, Steve and I normally wear a large shirt, and the pattern that I have to use a 2XL to get the same thing.
Yeah, can you say we're not pig size? I mean, we're not slim fitters, that's for sure. We're more classic. I like to call it classic fit for men our age.
We might get away with an XL on it, but it is depressing.
Yeah. Make you feel like
it's depressing when you're doing clothing patterns.
Piggy at the trough, like, hold on, like kind of thing. But whatever, get over that. Andy's here. Hi, Andy. Jackie says, Walter, have you used styling design ruler for cutting out the patterns? A styling design ruler. Do you know what that is?
No, I have one, I think.
Is that one of those ones with curves?
Yeah, I haven't used one of those. Oh. And I have done some workshops on how to fit clothes, but I'm not a tight-fitting clothing person. I just don't like...
He enjoys making
bags. When I was young and I was 20 years old and I had a really skinny waist, I used to get fitted shirts, but I don't anymore.
Yeah, well, that's the problem when you buy men's clothes anymore. Everything is slim fit. For these little twigs of 20-something out there, yeah, we'll say they're going to blossom. They're just going to blow up real good with that. I mean, my nephew, he's one of those, except he's moving towards 30, and he's getting
porky.
He's getting a little chubby. Yeah, on there. So, yeah, it happens, and I think that's a good thing. Pat says, Stephen, this is going to be a piece of cake for you. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, actually, he's done bags and stuff. I mean, it's not that hard. Sewing. It's not difficult sewing. It's just time consuming, and there's a lot more there than just sewing this together. So yeah.
Pat's never used a rotary cutter on clothing. She's going to try that out. Keep your fingers back. But actually, one of the reasons why, and this is a crazy idea in the back of my head, I want to see how to make a shirt, first of all, because eventually, maybe with a little more practice, and if I like this or whatever, I wouldn't mind trying to make a quilted jacket. But I don't know. We'll see. Or a quilted kind of like shirt kind of a thing, but I don't know how that would work out. I don't know. It's just up here, right?
Yeah, like I've had ideas too, but I haven't really pursued them. So,
but we'll see. I mean, I look at this kind of a stepping stone into an area that's outside of my comfort zone, and I need right now. I've been feeling a little stale with my creativity and whatnot. So yeah, this is kind of jump starting me back into thinking outside of the box, because I do like to think outside of the box.
I'm getting to the point, but that's why I'm sort of slow with doing shirts, is I'm getting to the point of getting bored of doing shirts.
Well, maybe it's time to move into quilted jackets or whatever. designer.
Yeah, like I mean, I want to do some other clothes. When I haven't done a lot of pants, and I haven't done a lot of long sleeve shirts. So I want to do some long sleeve shirts this winter.
I also want to do some more bag making, but I want to not totes.
I
want to do more like the Buy Annie bag. I've done some Buy Annie bags before, but I want to do more of that as well. There's a lot of things that I want to do, but I feel guilty if I'm not working on a quilt too. Like, oh, I should be doing a quilt, but should I? Should I feel guilty about that? Like this afternoon, I was embroidering a tea towel. Thank you, Stephanie. It's all your fault. With that, but I feel guilty if I'm not making a quilt. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but yeah, and I shouldn't. It's just all sewing. Hi, Ingrid. Cozy Hermitage Craft Cottage. The shirt making videos are coming out at a great time. I just bought a similar shirt pattern and have not done this before. Your pattern video is very helpful. Great information. Thank you, John. Oh, it's John. I don't know. John, have you ever been here before? Because I don't ever remember seeing Cozy Hermitage come up. But welcome if this is your first time.
Yeah, actually, she said she uses a styling ruler so she doesn't cut into the fabric by mistake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never actually. I haven't really thought about doing that. I do have a ruler that probably would work with that.
I still don't know what a styling ruler is.
It has curves in it.
Is it one of those ones that looks like it's got this wowy, like?
Yeah, I have one. Somewhere,
okay.
Somewhere.
All right. So
I've never used it. Anyway.
Okay.
But actually, I've gotten good at cutting shirt fabric, and I haven't really cut into it ever. So
Judy says that's why she quit sewing clothes, because she started into quilting.
All about patterns. Yeah. Patterns. The shirt pattern I'm using is a PDF pattern. So I paste all the pages together, and the neat thing about it is that the PDF pattern, all the different sizes come in layers, so you can just print out whatever layer you want.
Who are you responding to with that one?
The patterns. Gloria is saying,
"Oh, okay."
The
pattern is the hardest. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the older ones were the tissue paper patterns, and I have done a couple of those. But what I usually do is trace it to a piece of stuff called trace a pattern, and it's a semi-fabric based product that Pellon sells or whatever. I think Pellon calls it pattern trace or something like that, and it's see-through, and you can put it over a piece of tissue paper pattern and copy it by drawing see-through. It's see-through, so you just trace it out. So
you wouldn't do that though with what we're doing, because you printed it.
Yeah, I did. This was the one I had was a PDF pattern, so I just printed it on paper and cut it out. I print out the correct size on paper and cut it out.
Now you see, I did not do that part of it. Walter did that. But I have done that before, because several years ago when I bought my serger, I took some classes at Ultimate Sewing on using a serger, and she had I have made clothing. Okay, now I confess, I forgot. I was not happy. They turned out okay. Yeah, one was sort of a sweatshirt thing and a pair of like pajama pants. I don't wear sweatshirts.
Yeah, that was a serger class. That wasn't really a good introduction
to sewing. But I had to use a pattern, and I had to cut the pattern out and put it together. It was a PDF. No, it wasn't a PDF. It was a tissue paper one. I had to trace it, and I just no, I didn't trace it.
No, you probably cut it.
I cut it right from the pattern.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
It's just that if you trace it, you save your tissue, original tissue pattern.
And I remember I did not like that.
Yeah, I
found that very tedious.
It's tedious, and it's annoying, and you have to cut it out, the pattern, later. And
yeah. Let me just catch up here. Styling ruler, the hardest part. Wild Rose is here. Hello, Wild Rose. Ingrid is here. I think I said that. I love Bianni bag patterns. Yeah, I do too. Okay, I don't know how to say this without making it sound like I'm being derogatory, and I am not. And it has to do with Adam Sews. Adam, of course, makes wonderful bags. And he's got one of his most popular bags that he makes and sells is the Caddy bag, which is a Bianni pattern. Now, he has done some customization of those bags, which makes them very fantastic. But he's going to come out with a pattern for it.
Yeah, but it's based on the Bianni, but it's not. It's still his own pattern. He's done it differently.
Yeah,
like his edges and his binding and stuff like that.
Well, no, he hasn't done
well,
that.
I
don't know, but whatever. So yeah, I'm not doing derogatory. I like Adam. I think Adam is great, and I think he's very, very talented in that, and his bags are gorgeous. But anyways, Bianni's got the market cornered on bags because she's got a bag for all occasions, and I've done a couple of those caddies too with Bianni. I made one for Walter, and I made one for myself way back a while ago. Mm-hmm. And I did make sort of a very elaborate travel bag, which I don't know if that was a Bianni or not. I forgot all about it. That one was in the early stages when I was quilting, and I was amazed that I was able to do it because I had never done anything like it before. But yeah, I get into, and I've got a few patterns here that I bought over the last few years.
I have a bag pattern hanging around that I really want to do, but I haven't gotten around to it.
But like I said, I feel guilty if I'm not making a quilt. Well, I may have to get over that, feeling guilty. Yeah, Cozy says first time. Well, welcome, Cozy. Billy's here. Hi, Billy. Use your quilting rulers for curves. Yeah, well, I used my quilting rulers for the straight lines.
Well, yeah, but there were parts of the pattern that had straight lines, and we used the quilting rulers to cut that part out.
But I'm not too shaky. Only one I did a little chewy in. The rest were fine. I didn't have any problem. So, yeah. But, yeah.
Well, not only that, you're only cutting out usually 2 layers of fabric at the most.
Yeah,
sometimes you're only cutting out 1 layer of fabric. So
as quilters, we cut more layers.
It have to press real hard or anything like that. You got if you have a sharp blade. And you just get the hang of going through curves and stuff. And I like to move my fabric pieces around like I get them nice pinned up and stuff, and I will move them around so that I'm not cutting in an awkward position.
Mm-hmm. So, Wild Rose says, did you make the Dracula hanging on the door behind you? I most certainly did. It's an In the Hoop project. And I think I showed that on the Idiot Quilter last week or the week before as well. Another thing that takes me away from quilting is my embroidery machine, and I love doing stuff on the embroidery machine. Oh, Nancy's here. Hi, Nancy. And
Jeannie hates the Bianni bag, that pattern that she made.
I hate Bianni pattern I made. Way too many words and too few images. Did you watch the video, Jeannie? Because most of her patterns have the add little video for $5 or whatever. You get a coupon for it. Because I do agree with you. They are very wordy. And if you're an impatient person, which I tend to be, you tend to read them a little too fast. So you have to really sit down and study them. But once you've done one of her patterns, no matter what it is, you get the feel for it. Because she writes in the same way for most of them. But I do find her videos very, very helpful with them as well. And Billy says, I mean your long arm curved rulers. Oh!
Yeah, but
it probably
it depends on if the curve matches.
Yeah, if the curve matches.
Right? But I mean, it's not a big deal to cut curve. And not only that, you don't have to be too accurate with.
But if you've got problems with your hands,
yeah,
if you shake a little bit or you have a hard time gripping, to that. So actually, those rulers, they're 1/4 inch. So, that they're acrylic. That's not a bad idea at all, Billy. I never thought of that. Tamala says, sewing is sewing if you get enjoyment from it and then do it. Do you feel guilty when you embroider instead of sewing? Yes, I do. Not as much, but it isn't really guilty. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just feel that I should be making a quilt. So, oh, you didn't watch the video? Oh, that would have helped a lot, Jeannie, if you had, because those really are good.
Yeah, and there's some clothing patterns that you purchase that will have videos sometimes, too, tutorial videos. And that helps, too.
Yeah. So anyways, we've spent a lot of time doing a post-mortem of what we've already done. And so next week, as I said, we're going to be doing the next stage, which is the button band, and possibly the pocket, too. So yeah, so stay tuned for that. All right. So some announcements. Okay. Next Sunday, we will be on earlier. Sorry, Russ. I'll explain that in a minute. It is Thanksgiving here, and we're having my sister's family here for dinner, and they're coming at 5 o'clock. So that means we have to start a little early so we're ready to go when my sister gets here at 5 o'clock. Now, Russ is having a Shenanigans Sew Day next Sunday as well. Russ and I have been talking about this. And Russ purposely was going to end his a little bit early. He was going to end it around 4 o'clock so it wouldn't overlap into our live, which is usually at 4 o'clock. And I forgot completely about the fact that we were going to be coming on earlier. So it isn't really a problem, all right? We're not in competition with each other, okay? Russ and I are friends. So, yeah, you don't have to worry about it. If you're on Russ's and you're enjoying the time you're there, and I'm sure you will be, you can always catch our live on the replay. That's not a problem, okay? So, you choose what you want to do, and we won't look at it as you picking sides much. No, on it. No, we won't. You do you, okay? Whatever is working for you that day, that is fine, okay? So I just thought I would say that because I really appreciate Russ thinking about our live, and going to stop early, and then I went, oh, I just threw a monkey wrench into the gears. I mean, that's only for this week coming, next week coming.
Yeah, it's because it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's the only reason for that. And in fact, it wouldn't have been a problem at all. It's not a problem at all. It is not a problem. If we were going to my sister's instead, because we would have done it at our regular time, and we would have been there for like 6 o'clock, and that would have been fine with her. But we've got things we have to get ready too before they show up. So yeah, I mean, I'd rather not be doing dinner because it's a lot of work, and I'm supervising Walter in the kitchen to make sure he does everything correctly is, takes it out of me. I mean, I'm standing there with my glass of wine in my hand, sitting in my lazy boy, and going, check the turkey or whatever we're having. Oh yeah, we are having a turkey. No, not really, but yeah, really we're having turkey, but really no. Walter does most of the cooking for this because I'm incapable. But I am making some of the stuff.
Will you videotape making or no?
You want to see bloodletting for real? That would do it.
What are you serving for Thanksgiving dinner?
Food.
Turkey?
Well, we're having turkey and stuffing or dressing, whichever you want to call it. We usually call it dressing. But, stuffing works as well. Will it be homemade stuffing, you may ask? Will it involve chestnuts and raisins and stuff? No. It's called stovetop. Love it.
Well, I do doctor it.
He does add a few things to it. Yeah. What do you add to it?
Well, I'm cook onions and stuff
and
like
celery
that. And celery and...
It's 7 herbs and spices. No. And we are having scalloped potatoes with it. I will be making the scalloped potatoes. Now, we have a little problem. My nephew's girlfriend is coming as well. And apparently, she's gluten-free and lactose intolerant. Makes cooking really easy, doesn't it?
Well, too bad. Your sister already said that.
Yeah, my sister said she's pretty good with it. But you see, scalloped potatoes, what do they have in them? Milk. We bought lactose-free milk for that. Cheese is a problem. I usually do them au gratin. So I am thinking of one of two things to do. I'm still going to make them au gratin. But I may make only half of them.
But the thing is there is that much. I don't think there's much. I can look it up, but I don't think there's that much lactose in cheese. So.
Well, whatever. But or I make a special little dish. I had these.
Your sister didn't make any accommodation for me being sugarless in her dinner to me.
That's true. Well, I don't want to kill his girlfriend.
Yeah, well, and then we'll have vegetables. Well, green beans will be one, right?
Yeah, green beans. I'm going to do... I was thinking of doing carrots.
Yeah, I could do that.
Carrots. Actually,
Unless you do turnip.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a fan the kids are of turnip. I'm not sure I love it, but of course I can do it the way that I do it, which is...
Yeah, and then for dessert, I'm going to make a couple of pumpkin pies.
Yeah, and Walter's making pumpkin pies from a pumpkin. We got some pumpkin pie pumpkins.
Pie pumpkins.
Pie pumpkins, yeah. He's going to do that.
Why don't you bake a potato for the girlfriend?
That's not such a bad idea. Yeah. Okay. That's not a bad idea. Watch. She won't show up. Something will come up at the last minute. She can't come.
Or we're going to do a couple of boiled potatoes with it, too. So.
Yeah, here, honey. Have a boiled potato. Yum. Yeah, so what I have? Oh, cranberries. I have to cook my cranberries. I do fresh cranberries. I do not do canned cranberries. I'm sorry. Although, I do love it when you go to a dinner party at Christmas time and someone is serving you a Christmas dinner and they pass around the canned cranberries and you can still see the rings of the side of the can in it. I mean, nothing like it.
Or you could do a small scalloped potato like on those little days.
And where have you been in the last 5 minutes? And not only that, but I mentioned that earlier.
Oh, okay.
I said that already.
All right.
I said I had these little dishes and I can do a separate scallop potato just for her, an individual one. It's not hard to do.
I'm not listening.
This is what I live with. All right. And then I get blamed for all the time.
Colleen says mashed carrots and turnips together.
Yeah, I have heard of that. I'm not a big fan of mashed turnips. I will eat them, but what I do is I cube them and I cook them in brown sugar and well, I have used orange juice before, but you can throw in any kind of liquid, and I add some spices to them, and those always turn out quite nice. The reason mashed turnip is because I hated it as a kid. My grandmother used to make it, and she would mash the shit out of it, put in milk or something, and it was slop. It was just slop. I came to reappreciate turnip. I would eat it now, and I would like it, actually. I wouldn't mind it, but it brings up bad memories of slop. So, no. And
no, Steve's making fresh cranberry sauce.
Yeah, I'm making fresh ones. Well, I don't really, if the truth be told, canned cranberry sauce to me is okay too, but I won't serve it. Company. No, I'm sorry, I'm snotty about that. Let's see. Patsy says, are you sure you don't want to kill her? Have you met her yet? Just kidding. She's lovely.
Hope the furniture can stand up.
Don't be watching this. Don't say anything. Okay, she's a lovely girl. This is the best you can do. Okay. Wild Rose says, I have to do the same thing for my nephew who cannot eat butter. He gets a small serving made especially for him. Yeah, well, there'll be butter in it too. My sister did say, now my sister claims, but Walter says impossible. She's making it up. He says there is lactose-free butter. It's called margarine. I don't know.
No, she says there's lactose-free butter, and from what I've read, there butter and whipping cream and things like that do have lactose in them, but they're in very small amounts.
Well, I don't want to kill her. Okay. Although my sister said that she had my nephew's birthday was last weekend, and she had a birthday dinner, and the girlfriend was there too. And my sister had made a couple of pumpkin pies, and they had milk in them or something or whatever, and she ate them. Didn't have any problem. So I don't know. I don't know. But we'll try our best to accommodate her. We don't want her to feel that we're, purposely trying to kill her or anything like that. Melissa says you can get lactose-free cheese. Also, cheddar cheese is naturally low in lactose. I have to eat gluten and lactose-free. Lactose-free. I have to eat gluten and lactose-free. Okay, so gluten-free and that. Okay. Yeah, you can get it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll make it work. Just going down here. Cranberry relish. Never had it. Not sure what that would consist of. But making cranberry sauce from fresh cranberries is like, there's nothing to it. A bag of cranberries, some water, some sugar, bring it to a boil. As soon as one of the little suckers pops, take it off the heat, let it cool down. Make sure you leave a lid on it. Because ask me how I know. Is it blows up all over your kitchen when they're popping. And that's it. That's all you need. That's all there is to it. Very, very easy. Not as easy as opening a can and letting that jelly slide out. And if you really want to impress people, take a knife and smooth out the can rings so they'll never know. Tell them that you put it together. It's fresh cranberry. You made it yourself and you made it into that shape. Teresa says, the extra effort to include her in her dietary needs is great. You'll sure score brownie points. I don't need to score brownie points. Quite frankly, it doesn't matter to me what she thinks of me. What should matter to her is what I think of her. Sue says, not a fan of turnips. My dad loved them, but a turnip has not darkened my door since I've been married.
Yeah, I was never fond of turnips when I grew up, but that's basically the way my mom made them. And I've had it way Steve's made them before and stuff. I don't mind them. But they're not my favorite vegetable.
No, well, I don't know. I hate peeling turnip.
Yeah.
It's a bitch to do it. I like squash. Squash is good too, but I don't know. I think I'm going to keep it really simple. I think we'll just have some roasted carrots with it or something like that. Yeah. Colleen says cranberry sauce easy to make. I've never had turnip with milk, just some butter. Yeah, milk makes it real sloppy. But
my mother used to cube all her turnip and then pour milk over top of it. I never liked that. But actually, I didn't like it. She knew I didn't like it. So what she used to do is cut me off a slice of raw turnip before dinner and give it to me and say, here, eat that.
Yeah. Donna says she doesn't like cranberry, so she makes beet relish.
Well, actually,
I don't think I'd like that.
That.
Because I'm not a big fan of beets. So yeah. Jackie says her granddaughter uses ghee instead of butter. She also is lactose intolerant.
Ghee doesn't have milk solids in the butter.
Yeah. Well, and
I can make ghee.
We make ghee, but I don't know. But I need, for the amount that I'm going to put in the scallop potatoes, I don't think we need to worry about it.
I don't think there's enough milk to really cause a problem.
Yeah, Melissa, I wondered about that. I didn't ask my sister about the pills. I know for lactose intolerance, I know there are ones that some people take that have that problem.
Lactate pills.
Yeah, carrots and peas. Yeah, well, that would be my choice. I like peas. I love peas. Peas are my favorite vegetable. Or no, Candace, I like your suggestion better. Cut out the veggies, eat more pie. Oh, yeah. Pie is one of my favorite food groups. I'll send you a jar. Well, don't worry about it. It may not last through the mail. But anyway, so yeah, that's next Sunday, and that was a bit of a...
Yeah, there's no bean casserole in Canada.
No, we don't do green bean casserole. No, no. My sister made it once, and no, it was slimy. I'm sure there are different recipes for it, and I'm sure if it's done what people would consider the right way, but I'm not headed that way, so I'm not going to go for that. Okay, so Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen Wednesdays as usual. Anybody that's new here and doesn't know about that, Stephanie and I host a sew day every Wednesday starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. You can find the link for it in the show notes below this and in the show notes for all of my videos that go up every week. And you'll also find it, I think, on the community tab on Stephanie's channel as well. So, yeah.
Somebody's asking what's your favorite pie?
All of them. All of them. I have never met a pie I didn't like. Nope. One pie that I never get very often is chocolate pie. I like chocolate pie. Walter made me a chocolate pie back, how long ago was that?
It's a while ago.
Quite a while ago. And but I love all pie. I don't care. Whatever, I'll eat it if it's pie. Okay. Update on the retreat. So, as you probably know, yesterday I opened up registration for my fall retreat, which is on October the 19th. Right now we are at 60 people have signed up for it. It's pretty good in 1.5 days. But I still have room. I still have spots available. Not a lot, but I can accommodate 95 people, so I've got 35 spots left on there. So if you thought maybe you weren't going to get a chance because it would have filled up already, it has not. But I imagine it will be full within the next few days with it. So yeah, so don't snooze because you'll lose. All you need to do is send me your first and last name and the email address you wish to be contacted at, and you're in. And it's free. It's free. I've got my guest speakers are all lined up, and they're going to be fantastic. And we're all going to have something a little different this time. We're going to do a panel discussion about technology and quilting. And the guest speakers, plus Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches, are going to be on the panel. I will be moderating it as well. And I think it'll be a very interesting discussion. But in the meantime, there'll be plenty of time to do your own sewing and to socialize and everything like that. And there are prizes. There are always prizes as well. So that's on Saturday, October the 19th. But you need to register to reserve your spot. And if you haven't seen the video that I put out, it's a link in the show notes for it that explains the whole process as well. Okay. So we talked about that. Now, this is what I don't think we'll get maybe to the main part of today, what we might about doctors, but it doesn't matter. But I do want to talk about Hope Air a little bit. This, as you know, one of my subscribers, Kathy Gore, reached out to me, and when I was trying to figure out where I'd give some quilts away to, and she suggested that I contact Glen of Glen and Friends Cooking, which is a local gentleman. He lives a couple of towns away from us, and he's got a very popular YouTube channel where He does basically cooking and things like that. But he is also a pilot. He has a plane, and he does free of charge for this charity called Hope Air. What Hope Air is, and let me just pull it up here so you can see. Okay, this is their website, and Hope Air is where they take Canadians who need serious medical treatment but live, you know, in very rural areas, like way up in northern parts of Canada. And they fly them to whatever medical facility they need to go to, and it's all free of charge. So this organization, she suggested, this Kathy, that I reach out to Glen and ask him about it, and maybe they could use some quilts. Because, you know, in these small planes, they can be kind of cool. And if you're someone, you know, someone with a compromised immune system because, you know, you're going for cancer treatments or whatever the nature of the your health condition, it would just keep them kind of warm and cozy. And, you know, they'd also be able to hang on to it afterwards and that. And it might be something that'll bring them a little bit of comfort in that. And I thought, yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing. It appealed to me because it's a Canadian charity, because I watch Glen regularly all the time, and I know he's a local person to my area. So, you know, supporting him as well with all of this. So I reached out to Glen, and he ran with the idea, and he put me in contact with the people who are the organizers of this Hope of Air. And we had a video conference, a video call this past week, and talked about the ins and outs of it. So it looks like right now all the details haven't been worked out, but what they'd like to do is I showed them the quilt, and it's actually a Stephanie Stitches pattern that I am doing, that I had done. And I want to make sure that Stephanie got credit as well for the pattern. And they were excited about it, and they want to do it as, at first they were talking about doing it as an auction. But they want to know what the value was. Well, you know what it's like if you're a quilter, how difficult it is to put a value on a quilt. You know, it's not just the fabric, it's your time and everything like that with it. And I said, you know, for doing it that way, you might want to put a minimum bid on it, but then that might not make as much money because people, you know, a lot of people who wouldn't be quilters that would be maybe bidding on this are looking at it as, well, wait, you've got a minimum bid of $200, $250 on it. I can buy that for $80 at Walmart. Well, no, you can't. And we know that. But, you know, they just don't understand with it all. So instead, I think we're going with the raffle, with a raffle route, and it'll all be done online. Yes, you can buy tickets for it as well. When it comes out, I will let you know, put the links up and things like that. And they're thinking about doing it in towards the Christmas time. You know, because people might, you know, win it for a Christmas present or something. I don't know. Anyways, that's all that's been worked out. This was more brainstorming. They have gone off to do more planning, and they were talking about Glen. Actually, he brought it up. He is a professional videographer, and about basically doing some video of me doing some quilting and maybe talking about the quilt and stuff like that, and publishing it on his channel, my channel, and possibly anywhere else that Hope Air would want to use it as, you know, advertising for this fundraiser kind of a deal. It's a little bit more than I thought I was going to get involved with, but I'm kind of excited about it, and at least I know that it's going to a good cause. Speaking of Glen and Friend, if you're not familiar with him, this is his YouTube channel, and I'll have a link for his YouTube channel in the show notes below. He has 2 YouTube channels. He might actually have 3. I'm not sure, because he mentioned something about beer making as well. But on this channel, he does all kinds of different recipes, and they're usually recipes that sometimes he picks them from old cookbooks, like cookbooks from the 1930s or things like that. Other ones are a twist on a modern day one, but all of his recipes are meant to be manageable for the average family cook, which I think makes them really interesting. Also, he does sort of what he calls technique cooking, where he shows you, hey, you look in the fridge, you've got a green pepper and onion and a leftover hamburger or something. Here's how you can make dinner, kind of thing. So he does all kinds of things. He even does cocktails as well. He has one video that comes out every week about a cocktail of the week. So he's very, very interesting. But as I said, he is a pilot, and he does have a another channel that's all about their adventures flying around Canada and other parts and their trips. He basically restored the airplane that he has, and I think he has videos of doing that and working on it and all that kind of stuff. Very interesting stuff. His wife, Julie, you will often see in his videos as well, in both the aviation and the cooking ones. I think she may be a local high school teacher. We're not really sure. So if I ever meet Glen face to face, I'm going to ask him about, if she's a local teacher and that kind of thing. I think she is a science teacher, but I'm not absolutely sure about that. But one thing I want, now I don't know if this is going to work or not, and I don't usually do this kind of thing, but I do want to play you one of the videos. It only runs about 5 minutes. I'll probably cut it off before the end of it. Hopefully the sound will come through. We'll find out. But he explains Hope Air better than I can explain it, because he's been involved with them for quite some time. So if you'll indulge me, I'm going to play this for you, if I find the play button.
Welcome, friends. Welcome back to the kitchen. Now, if you clicked on a video on the Hangar channel and you're wondering why we're not in an airplane and we're in a kitchen, it's because I have a cooking show on YouTube. And if you're wondering why you clicked into what you think is going to be a cooking video and you're not getting a cooking video, it's because I have an airplane channel on YouTube. And this is the convergence of the two channels, because what's inside this box is a giant thank you to everyone who watches my channels. Let's get it open and we'll talk about it. So last summer, 2023, I participated in Give Hope Wings, a charity fundraiser for a group in Canada called Hope Air. Hope Air provides, as it sounds, airfare and travel for people who live in the areas of Canada where healthcare exists, but you're not going to get a major operation or cancer care or that sort of thing. And you need to travel from where you live in the more remote parts of Canada to a big city center like Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, that sort of thing. They provide flights from these remote communities using private pilots like myself who have small aircraft who can get in and out. And then from there, you get on to major commercial airlines, and they will cover the cost of the commercial airline the rest of the way. Sort of a combination of different types of airplanes and aircraft, depending on where you are and where you need to go. They cover it all. They cover your hotel while you're there for your treatments. Healthcare here is free, but the cost sometimes of getting to the hospital, because Canada is such a large country with many remote places, is really expensive. And they try to break this down for people. So I participated in this charity event in order to raise money to cover costs, cover operating costs, and that sort of thing. And I mentioned it on the channel, on the cooking show, that this is what I was going to do and that I was going to film it as part of the Hangar show, the flying show. And you all responded incredibly generously. We, meaning you, raised $27,000 last year for the charity, which just absolutely blows me away. Totally, completely in awe of your generosity. And I thank you so much for that. And the people at Hope Air, they thank you too. Let's see if I can get it out. It's stuck in the box. Okay, there we go. They thank you too. And so they've sent this along. As a giant thank you to all of you. Hope Air, providing Canadians in financial need with free travel to healthcare far from home. The Dave McElroy Give Hope Wings Volunteer of the Year Award, presented to the individual who makes an outstanding contribution to the success of the expedition. Glen and friends. That's you. I couldn't have gotten this without you. And our friends at Hope Air made sure that you were thanked as well.
Okay, so that gives you a little idea of what Hope Air is all about, and I guess I'm going to get involved with them, with that too. Now, I mentioned to the ladies when we were having the video, I said about the raffle and the whole bit, and I said about promoting it on my channel, on Glen's channel, and I said, well, most of my subscribers are actually American, and I have a feeling for Glen that might be the same way, because that's just the nature of the beast when you're a Canadian content creator on YouTube. The majority of your audience comes from the States. And I said, so that might not mean much to her, or too much to them. And she said, well, actually, she says, we've gotten a lot of donations from Americans for this as well, over the time as well, which I found kind of interesting. That, it's not your country, kind of a thing. And as far as I know, I could be wrong about this, but Hope Air does not really extend to, there's not an American branch of this as well. So that's really kind of interesting. So that's what we're going to be involved in. I will keep you informed as to how this progresses, and when tickets might become available and all that kind of stuff, and how to get them if you're interested in buying a raffle ticket or whatever. I have no idea what price they will put on the raffle tickets or anything like that. This is kind of new for them too, I think. I don't think anybody, a Quilter, has ever approached them before. And I wouldn't have even thought of it if it hadn't been for Kathy Gord, who made the suggestion to me. So, thought you'd like to know. That's how this is going to work out. And as I said, I'll keep you informed of this. Let me find what I'm looking for.
Live streaming.
Oh, that's the one I'm looking for. There we go. So there's been just some discussion here. Somebody makes, Gloria makes cranberry orange relish for Thanksgiving.
I think we went through that already.
Oh, yeah, okay. Carrots and peas, yeah, blah, 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 blah. 2 beets, I need to send you blah, blah. What is your favorite pie? I've already did that. Mincemeat pie, ugh, Teresa says. Oh, I love mincemeat pie. I don't think Walter's a fan.
No, it's got too much gooey stuff in it.
Oh, Candace says, Walter, make Stephen a chocolate pie. He's been a good boy. I've been a good boy. Look, anytime he makes a pie.
I make pies lots of times.
No, you don't. But I'm right there. I don't care what kind it is. I will eat it. Patsy says, raffles, way to go. Stands to raise more money. That's what we talked about too. Yeah. Sue says, would they accept donations of small quilts for their patients from your subscribers? Sue, funny you should ask that. I have not asked them that yet. But we'll see how this works out. And if this works out, then maybe I will broach the subject to them and, see what the logistics of that would be, would I end up coordinating it? Probably, or something like that. So we'll wait, but we'll take it baby steps, okay? As I said, it's the first time I've ever done something like this. So we'll see how that works out. Kim's here. Hi, Kim. Dubrovka says, I watch him cooking. He's a great man of what he does. Yeah, and he explains things very clearly. So if you want to see a cooking show that's interesting, and they're short, his videos don't go on for like days and days and days. They're under 20 minutes in length most of the time. So yeah, and he cooks some things that are a little bit different.
Get really old cookbooks and decipher how to cook them in a modern setting.
Yeah, he actually has a studio for this set up. You're not actually in his kitchen in his home. He has a building at the back of his house. I think it's a garage actually, and he's refurbished it so that he has like a kitchen counter, he has a refrigerator, a stove, oven out there. He has his appliances that he uses for cooking with, all at the kitchen cupboards. It looks like a kitchen, but what you don't see, and he showed this once, his cameras and everything. Like I said, he's a professional videographer. So he has the equipment, the lighting, the cameras and everything, and they all face into his counter and stuff. And in fact, he does have what looks like a sink in there, but it doesn't work. It's not hooked up. And so you'll often see him during his videos taking the dirty dishes he's using and stuff, and he puts them underneath the counter. Well, he showed that on one of his behind the scenes video once. He's got a great big one of those bus pans, you know, the ones that pick up the dishes from tables in restaurants, and that's where he throws everything in, and he goes back into the house, and he has a dishwasher in the house. Actually, the sink might work, but he uses the dishwasher inside his house to clean all that stuff up on that. But he's done a lot of other things too, like he ages meat. He has a meat ager kind of a thing. He does beer, but he's not making your everyday, you know.
He actually taps his maple trees for maple syrup.
And he's got a smoker, so in the nicer months, he'll sometimes do ones where he's showing using his smoker for whatever he's cooking as well. And he's also quite aware that people have budgets. So many times the things that he is buying are what was on sale, you know, that week at the local grocery store. It looks like he shops at the No Frills a lot because he's got a lot of yellow.
Or Loblaws.
Or Loblaws, yeah too, with it. So anyways, yeah. I'm looking forward, hoping that I actually meet him in person because I'm kind of looking forward to that as well. So, yeah, this should be interesting. Sue says, drum roll, just finished sewing all together my 32 tile embroidered wall hanging. Yeah, Sue's been doing one of those embroidery projects that's basically wall hanging, which is all thread. And I've done a couple of them in the past, and I know what she's been going through because first of all, it's time consuming. And second of all, sewing them all the tiles together, that's the maddening part about it, really. I don't enjoy that part of it. The embroidery part isn't so bad. Carol, in my area of the U.S., there's a similar organization for medical flights. It's called Angel Flight. Oh, okay.
It would make sense that places that have remote areas have that sort of thing.
Yeah. Robert says, make Stephen an Arkansas possum pie, Walter. Okay, that might be a pie that I would not eat. Okay. No. Never had possum? Don't want it. Julie Anna is here. In the U.S., we have Angel Flights. Sounds very similar. My sister used it several times, and my daughter-in-law's mother also used it. They both praised the service. Yeah. It's probably a very similar thing. So, anyways, we're coming near the end of our time. I did talk to my doctor about my medication. So she she didn't want to give it up, and because I didn't want 20 milligrams of Crestor, I only wanted 10. And I told her it's affecting my legs, the 20, and I stopped taking it. And also she recommended another. She basically said, I said, is there another one I can use for cholesterol? And she says, no. That's what she told me. No, statin. You have to have a statin. Okay, I beg to differ. I don't know. But she said there is another drug called Easytrol.
Easytrol,
which is supposed to work with the statin to avoid some side effects or something, or make the lesser amount of the statin that I'd be taking from what she wants to recommend for me more effective. But she wants my number is below. It's not, my cholesterol is not in the bad range. It's in the good range. But she wants, I think I'm at 2.4.
Yeah, she wants it to be lower.
She wants me to be at 2. And I said, why? And she says, because you're old, is basically what she told me. Because your age and, well, she says your health is good. You've never had a heart attack, and this kind of stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, and a couple of people that I do know that had heart attacks, their cholesterol was fine.
So anyways, the compromise is this. I said to her, oh, by the way, I said, I just realized I've only been taking this medication for 20 years. Suddenly I just said that you should be taking it at night. Not, I take it first thing in the morning with my blood pressure pills and my vitamin pill. I said, no one ever told me this, that I should be taking it at night, like just before I go to bed kind of a thing, or after dinner. And I said, would that make a difference in its effectiveness? Well, she says it might. I said, okay, tell you what, let's try that. 10 milligrams, no easy troll rate at the moment. I said, is there any side effects to this easy troll? She says, so far, it seems like there isn't.
I've taken it for a while. I'm not on it now, but a long time ago I was on it. I never had any problems with it.
But anyway, so I'm taking it at night. And she says, so I'm going to get my blood tested again in 3 months and we'll see what the numbers are there. But I don't know. And I called. The way you have to try and I want to make a telephone appointment with the doctor to discuss my medications. First of all, you have to go through until I figured out that I could press in the extension number and avoid a lot of the rigmarole that they go on and on. If this is emergency, call 911. Don't be blah, 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 blah. Don't do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this, do this, do this, don't do this, and do this, stand on your head and throw up. So when I finally did, I had to leave a message. I left 2 messages, and the receptionist is really good. If this is after hours, don't leave a message. We will not answer it. Okay, thank you. That's friendly. And if it is during business hours, we will be in contact with you within 24 hours. If this is emergency, call 911 or go to urgent care. Okay, so I left 2 messages over a 2-day period. Finally, Melissa, whatever her name is, the receptionist, she called me. She immediately... I said, yeah, I want to make an appointment by phone with the doctor to talk about my medications. I have some concerns. Well, your cholesterol is up. So, no, it's not actually. I just had my blood work done. One reason I'm calling, and my cholesterol wasn't up before. Now it's even lower. And, have you missed taking some of your medication? No, ageism. Thank you. Yeah, I am 67 years old, but I remember to take my medication, so thank you for that. Are you a doctor? I think you're a receptionist, aren't you? Like, I didn't say that part to her, but that's what I'm thinking. So she finally said, okay, well, how's 11:45 for you? It's fine. I will be here. So anyways, that kind of annoyed me. Your job is to make appointments. Your job is not, in my opinion, to question me about my health because you're not a qualified doctor. You're a receptionist. Stick to the recepting with it. But anyways, yeah. So that's what we know. That's what we're doing right now. And we'll see how that all works out. If I'm dead in the morning, we'll know. Okay. We're coming to the end of things right now. Let's see. Possum Pie, read that. Oh, Dubrovka says, does Glen live far from you? Not really.
No, we don't know exactly where he lives, but we know he lives.
Well, we know what town he lives in.
Yeah, he lives in Ajax, which is maybe 20 minutes away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so no, not far. Not far. In Oz, Maureen says, we have the Royal Flying Doctor Service. Yeah, I guess probably most major countries in the world might have something like this. Dubrovka says, take CQ10 with it for problem legs.
What's CQ10?
I don't know what CQ10 is, and I wouldn't take anything unless my doctor said it was okay with it. The point is, I don't like taking drugs, period, unless they come in the form of a gummy bear. That's totally different. But yeah, Jean says, I was on stat for 20 years and quit it. Too many side effects. And I've heard that from other people as well. Brenda says, have a great week. Stay healthy and see you on Wednesday. Well, I guess we've come to our time now. Brenda is cutting us off. So, we bow down to Brenda. for all of that. But anyways, oh, Donna disappeared. Anyways, people, we'll see what we see. So thanks for joining us today. If you have not yet and you're thinking of it, make up your mind and sign up for the virtual retreat. You won't regret it. You will have a good time. And by the way, Walter thinks that I scared maybe some people with my whole blacklist thing. If during the virtual retreat, if you have to disappear for a bit of time, that's perfectly all right. The blacklist is for people who have reserved a spot and then never show up. Because I usually have a waiting list and have no explanation. That's a reasonable explanation for it. I mean, we know life happens, and so certain things do happen sometimes that are beyond our control. But when you just don't show up, bang, that could have been a spot for somebody who really wanted to come, because I usually have a waiting list as well. So that's what the blacklist is all about, okay? But if you've got something like you're on for a couple of hours and then you have to run down to the fabric store because you've just realized you've run out of something that you need desperately, you can do that. If you need to go offline because you're having lunch or whatever, you can do that. That's not a problem. It's just people who are no-shows, period. That's why there's a blacklist, okay? Okay, so everybody, have a great what's left of today weekend, and remember, next week we'll be on an hour earlier. Sorry again, Russ. Thank you for your understanding. And we'll be on at 3 instead of 4 Eastern time. Okay, so have a good week. We'll see you all later. Bye for now.
Bye for now.